Tax experts are making it clear everyone should comply with the country's tax laws and fulfill tax obligations. And that's after the Comelec First Division allowed presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos to run for office despite a previous tax conviction. Many of our kababayans are now asking, what does the law really say about paying taxes? Let's bring in tax expert and certified public accountant, Mon Abrea. Mon, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us, why should the public faithfully comply with their tax filing obligations?
Rico, because our tax code is very clear. Under the 1997 tax code, it is a crime not to file our tax returns.
So non-compliance is punishable, is a punishable offense under existing regulations. But for the benefit of our viewers, does the law also allow for exemptions, Mon?
The only exemption provided by the law are actually exclusive to our employees, those with one employer and no other sources of income.
And can you also clarify for all our viewers, though this misleading excerpt of the resolution of the Comelec First Division on the disqualification cases against a presidential candidate circulated in various media platforms, the controversial excerpt stated that the failure to file a tax return is not inherently wrong in the absence of a law punishing it. Please clarify this statement from the Comelec.
Actually, Rico, I also need clarification because there is a law that punishes it. In fact, there was a conviction made and a fine was imposed and there was imprisonment in the RTC. But when it was when it reached the Court of Appeals, the imprisonment was removed, but the conviction was upheld together with the fine.
So what kind of clarifications would you like to find out, Mon?
Well, probably in the Comelec and Bank, because politics is setting aside politics, Rico. You know, we're talking about the morale of our taxpayers. Even if it doesn't qualify as moral turpitude, as the decision was, according to the decision, the one convicted will lose his moral ascendancy to ask all of us taxpayers to file and pay our taxes because you didn't file and you were convicted.
So, taking out the politics from the equation, now that a decision has been made in the Comelec First Division and now it's been filed for a motion for reconsideration with the Comelec and Bank, how should the Comelec and Bank look at this disqualification case and non-payment of taxes from 1982 to 1985?
Number one, I think it's important for them to really consider the decision of the court, meaning we cannot change the decision of the Court of Appeals. First, there was a conviction. Number two, in 1986, the provision that allows or that imposes perpetual disqualification took effect. So from 1982 to 1985, which were the tax returns not filed, the 1982 to 1984 may not qualify for perpetual disqualification, but the failure to file the 1985 return in 1986 is now covered by the perpetual disqualification for all government officials. So I guess the Comelec and Bank should really look into it. But for taxpayers, Rico, honestly, this has nothing to do with our obligations because Comelec only covers the candidates. It doesn't change the tax code.
Yeah, because with what's happening right now, with the decision of the Comelec, there's a lot of misinterpretation right now regarding paying our taxes. And of course, if the Comelec and Bank upholds the decision of the Comelec First Division, this will now go up to the Supreme Court, which I'm sure will also take a look once again, without the politics involved, the merits of this case.
Yes, Rico, there's already a jurisprudence that accessory penalty, even if not mentioned in the court decision, will still apply, and that in that case, the perpetual disqualification will come in for the 1985 tax return, and we expect the Supreme Court to really consider all these facts and provisions of our tax code.
All right, that's very clear from our tax expert, Mon Abrea. But of course, the filing of your income tax returns, whether it be individual or corporate, the deadline is on April 15. What can the government do, Mon, to encourage the public to promptly and honestly file their taxes? Like yourself, you've already filed your taxes.
Yes, Rico, during every Valentine's Day, I file my tax return as a show of real love for our country. Rico, we always say this, that aside from the fact that we want to see where our taxes are going, and
Yes.
at least for the infrastructure projects and the ayuda, the funds to address COVID-19, we saw it. But at the same time, Rico, it is also important to see our government leaders, our political candidates, paying their taxes. Remember, Rico, they are also required to pay their taxes for all political candidates.
Yeah, because it's a common complaint, no, Mon. When you talk to the man on the street, they will always say, bakit ko babayaran yung buwis ko? Hindi natin nakikita yung ating pera sa mga infrastructure projects. Nakikita lang natin going to corrupt officials.
Yeah, that's why it's important to really emphasize the value of paying taxes and where it is really going. And at the same time, to really, for our government leaders to really set a good example, for them to really declare in their SALN, their income, and pay their taxes if they are making others, if they have other sources of income, which is for sure, a lot of them also have businesses.
Tax expert and certified public accountant Mon Abrea, thank you so much for your insights.